Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Dan Gets Rich Endurance Sports Podcast. Today is Sunday, May the 15th. This is episode number 5 of season number 4. Please follow us on our social medias at Dan Gets Rich on the Instagram and the Facebook. And please hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you consume your podcast. My name is Richard Parks, and I'm joined by my favorite co-host, Daniel in the Dark, Danimal King, Dan Cole. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, Rich? Yeah, right before we got on, I said the lighting's bad. You're not going to be able to see me. And
I think it looks great, Dan. I think you look great. You've never looked better.
That was better.
You've never looked better.
That's right. When you can't see me, it's all good. So I know we haven't been on in a while, Rich. How you been, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm just a pickleball machine. That's all I do.
We had a local race today. We have a triathlon podcast. And where's Rich? I don't know. Nowhere to be found, baby.
I was playing pickleball. Actually, this morning I was taking care of my dog. My dog was a little sick. Janine was down the race today, and she did win her age group. Congratulations to Janine, the bionic woman with her artificial hip, win her age group. But I was taking care of my dog. My dog was a little under the weather. You know how that is, Dan. You love dogs. You're a dog bait. You got bit by the dog.
I did. And you know what? There were so many dogs down there today. And I was like, there's a couple that I wanted to pet, but I'm like, I'm good. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a guest on in a long time, Rich. So it was good. We have Juan Guevara, owner of the Running Elements, and coming off the Ironman World Championship race out in St. George, Utah. So thanks so much for taking some time to spend time with us this afternoon. I know it's been a long week for you, Juan. So happy to have you on the show, buddy.
What's happening, guys?
Juan, pronounce your name correctly. I feel like Dan butchers it every single time.
We're just gonna go with it.
I gotta be close. I gotta be close.
Guevara. I'm going Guevara.
Give it a shot, Rich. Give it a shot. Let's hear it.
Guevara.
There's a G, so it's Guevara.
Guevara? Okay, I love it.
There you go.
Okay, let's go, Guevara.
We had this conversation. Scott and I had this conversation a couple days ago because after, for however long we've been dating, and
how long has it been, Dan?
I don't know. It's been a long time.
You should know exactly.
Should I? Yeah. Anyway, we had this conversation because she was like, "How do you pronounce your last name?" And I was like, Cowell, and she's like, Cowell. So yeah, it's we got to the point where she was actually calling me by my first name, and now we've come full circle. She actually knows, hopefully, what my last name is now at this point. So
I don't think my wife knows how to pronounce our last name either, so it's not a big deal.
And how long you been married? How long has she had that last name?
Yeah, it's been a while.
God, nobody knows.
Well, you got an easy, Parks. My name's Parks.
Yeah, it's that kind of one syllable name, Parks.
Unless it's
Parks. Hey, there's not many of us though. I'm Parkes. There's not many of us. I've never met. I've only met one other Parkes, and she was a toll collector.
Well, you're not far from that, Rich.
Hey, man, I'd love to be a toll collector. Just collect that money. Everybody that drives by, just collecting that money, man. Come on.
Yeah, the funny thing. So I got a call earlier today from our good friend Joel Strickland, who is up racing up in North Carolina this past weekend, and he goes, "Hey Dan," he's driving up to North Carolina. He goes, "I'm listening to episode number 1 of your podcast," and I was like, "Why would you do that to yourself?" What? It's probably the most ridiculous episode. I've never even gone back and listened to it after that first time. And so he listened to a couple episodes. He laughed at the Andrew Starkowitz deal because it was so evident that Starkowitz absolutely hated me 100%, but loved Rich. So it was one of those episodes. Anyway, so he texts me and he goes, "Hey, my buddy wants to start."
That's understandable, though, man. Come on.
Well, you know what
he hated you. He hated you.
Oh, hated me.
He despises
me. I think we could actually fight at the next time we see each other.
Yeah. Hey, Juan, Dan and Starkowitz, who you got?
I don't know. I think Dan's
You got to think about this.
I think Dan's got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
Dude,
I would take
Starkey's wiry, dude. He would fuck Dan up. I think he would take him down.
I would kill Starkowitz.
Andy's kind of a sissy. I've had a conversation with Andy once or twice. So
okay, and he's kind of a what?
Yeah, I think Dan's got him.
I thought you said he was a sissy.
A little bit.
Oh, a little bit of a sissy.
Wow, we just started this episode off strong.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
There's a lot of whining. There's a lot of whining on the Andy side. So
okay.
You know what's funny? Rich is wearing a base hat, and we're back at. I love it. I love it. So
it was only
anyway.
It was right there. It was right there. I wear base hats. I wear. They mail me swag. Don't they mail you swag? They mail me swag.
Is base a sponsor?
So Rich for Rich, not the Dan part of the Dan.
You're giving them free promotions. What you're doing,
of course.
You know what's funny? Everybody goes out of their way not to give me swag. Like we're at the Game On race event, local race here down in Volano Beach here in Jacksonville, and earlier today we're leaving. And Willie, who's the race director, she goes, "Hey, Sky, why don't you?" I'm walking next to Sky. We're leaving. She goes, "Hey, Sky, why don't you come over here?" And she gives her a hat, and she goes, "Don't tell Dan."
You mean Willie Savoy, who's been on the show twice, maybe 3 times?
She's been on the show twice, and absolutely.
Have we ever had a 3-time guest? Have we ever had?
Yeah, right here guest? We had Juan, who's on for the 3rd time, which should have been the 4th time. We had the bag the last time that you were going to be on, and I can't remember why we bagged it, but we did. And then I think Sky's been on 3 times. So
we had some technical difficulties last time. So.
And then what we say? What the hell with the episode? We just didn't do it.
I think we just scrapped it. Yeah,
that sounds about right. Anyway, going back to my story real quick about Joel. So he calls me and he goes, "Hey, I got a buddy that wants to start a podcast. What should he do?" And I said, "Buy a microphone and buy some headphones and
start talking.
Rip it,
and get a base hat."
What's your nutrition of choice there, Juan? I know you've been on a couple different things for a while, but I know it's very hot out in St. George and Hilly out there at the World Championships. So what was the choice?
Basic. I train when I train for a race. I make sure to just stick with whatever is on the course, and so I stick to the Martin or however you call it. But as far as my calorie intake, that's really what I stuck to, just because I knew it was on the course. So in worst case scenario, I can use whatever's on the course.
Gotcha. Did you use the drink mix or are you straight gel guy?
Both. So on the bike, I use the liquid, and on the run, I use the gels. Gotcha.
Yeah, I love that drink mix. I've been using that probably a little over a year now, and the gels absolutely love. So, and I think if I recall correctly, you might be able to pick it up at a local running store as well.
I may know a guy that carries the product. Yeah.
So I love it.
Let's go.
Yeah, we got to do it every time we can. So
shameless plugs right here.
Well, I know
I don't have a hat. I'll take a hat.
No,
I don't even have a hat on right now. I mean, we want to show hats off. I mean, we'll show hats off.
Yeah, let's go. That's a good looking hat, man. I like that.
I thought you were going shirtless with your medal.
Damn, I was hoping so. Damn,
I mean, isn't that
man? Our viewership would go through the roof.
Now we're making me turn red.
Come on, that's me.
It's all right. You can match Rich's face.
Jesus, what's going on with that?
I don't know. You can't see me. Your face is red. I don't know what's going on.
We can't see Dan at all.
Juan's got a big head, dude. Look at that thing.
Yeah. I gotta go all the way to 2 clips here. Yeah.
Nice. What So let's go back to the race real quick. Obviously,
Please.
a couple things are standard. We always talk about what happens in the past year, and you have Christian Blumenfeld winning, and you have Daniela Rife winning. I think we're back to the norm now with Daniela. I think would she lose the 70.3? Yeah, came back, won that, and I don't think Christian Blumenfeld's ever going to lose again. I'd be interested to see him go up against Juan right now and see what would happen. But what was your takeaway after?
Yeah, he's not human. He's.
I know. Let's go real quick before we jump into the World Championship. So they are part of the sub-7 deal. Rich,
come
Rich
on, man! I love it. He just got to throw in the
shameless plug right there.
The Iron Man coffee cup. Hey, what's in the coffee cup?
We're not talking about what's in the coffee cup.
It's okay.
It's been a long Sunday. I think we're all, to the point where we probably need some coffee. And
we'll go with coffee. How's that?
Yeah. Rich is trying to rehydrate from all his pickleball playing. He was batting his pickle around earlier today.
There you go. You guys mock it. It's the fastest growing sport in the country.
No, it's even on. I turned it on for all of 10 seconds on ESPN one time, and I was like, "What the F is this?"
This is ridiculous.
All I hear is dunk, dunk, dunk. I'm like, I'm good here.
Hey, let's get back to our guests. Let's talk about the race at hand.
By the way, if anybody out there is looking for pickleball shoes, you know where to come.
You got the pickleball shoes. What are you carrying, Juan? What are you carrying?
We carry that. You're not a fan. I'm aware of your preferences, but we do carry the A6 Challenger.
Okay. I don't need. Is that a good? I love how Rich. I love how
Rich's preferences. Rich is not a big A6 fan.
No, it's not that I'm not. I think that no pickleball shoes hold up. Every pickleball shoe I have lasts 60 days. Honestly,
it's a tough sport, man. Tough sport.
It's just the grind on the shoes, and no pickleball shoes have held up. Absolutely. But I will check out the Challenger. I don't know that I've played in the Challenger yet, but I'll check it out. Any good colors? Because I'm very fashionable.
Oh, okay. No, unfortunately, they're pretty basic. Black or white.
Black or white? I'll go with black. I'll get with you.
I love how Rich goes, "Hey, let's get back to our guest in the Ironman World Championship," and he says one thing about pickleball. All of a sudden, where he's he totally forgot what we were talking about.
Juan did that. He went back and was trying to sell some shoes. That's what he does. He tries to sell some shoes. I don't blame him for that either.
I'm gonna plug the shoes every time. I'm sorry.
He's a marketer at heart.
Well, we did make fun of you a while ago because you were taking pictures of your calves and quoting it as shoe of the day. I don't even think you could see the shoe. I think it was just a picture of your calves.
It was the artist. If you do not remember, if you remember the picture, it was called the artist because it was on the shoe.
You do have nice calves. I'm going to give you that. It's jealousy and envy.
I think he shaved right before he took that picture.
100%. 100%. He waxed.
He may or may not have worked out right before that picture too.
He did some calf raises right before.
You got to get that blood flow going.
Jesus.
All right. Let's. We're 10 minutes in. Yes. So Ironman World Championship. Obviously, Blumenfeld champion. He's part of that sub-7 race that Rich absolutely hates with Alistair Brownlee. What do you think their odds are of doing that?
I mean, if he can go 740, what was it, 747, 748 at that course? I predicted leading into this race, I predicted there was nobody was going to break 8 hours at this race. That course was hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And for somebody to go sub-8 on that course, that's just, they're not human. Like I said, that was an unbelievable race.
Well, you know what they say. I mean, they made it a little bit harder. So for all those people that aren't aware, they actually had the Ironman regular race while the championship was going on, correct? So you had people who had signed up to do the full Ironman in St. George, and all of a sudden they get thrown a much harder course than what they would typically
They got grandfathered into that last 12-mile part. That last loop they added that loop two months out.
How fun was that? I saw some of the grades and the amount of climbing that you are right at the end, and it
Fun
didn't
is
look like
one
it
way
was
to
a
put
lot
it,
of fun.
for
Yeah.
sure. You want to get your soul ripped out at mile 100. That was
It is
climbing.
just yeah. Go ahead.
It was just it was hot. The conditions were miserable. It was we were seeing 30-mile an hour, 40-mile an hour gusts. I mean, it was the winds were brutal. The temperatures were hot, and then we knew going into it. I mean, like I said, I knew going into it there was going to be some climbing, but that little extra loop they threw in at the end there, that was added just to break your soul. Like at mile 100 to climb for 4 straight miles at 8 degrees, it was fun. It was fun to say the least.
What cassette did you use there? Did you use a 28 there?
So I had some great recommendations for some local friends on the Stellar team that got to participate in the 70.3 World Championships, and they first recommendation was, hey, go get a climbing cassette added to your bike. And so right before the race I had my local bike mechanic throw on some climbing gears for me, and it definitely saved the legs.
Well, that's good. So looking at those times, I know we talked about going sub 8 on there was absolutely ridiculous for some of the pros. I mean, looking at their times, I'm like, nothing ever phases the pros. I mean, if you look at their bike splits, they're still biking 26 miles an hour. I'm like, it boggles my mind that no matter what conditions are thrown at them, the pros are so steady in all of their training that they do. Nothing affects them. They're the same every time, no matter how hot, how windy, how much you need to climb. It's absolutely insanity. And then to run a 238 off that bike, because I mean, I'd kill just to run a 238. Period.
Right. I tried. I really did.
So what was the strategy going in? I mean, you knew you obviously had those climbs. What was the overall strategy going into the race? You knew the water temps there were in the low 60s, so at least it was a little refreshing when you got out of the water. You had the bike, and then kind of take us through your race prep and strategy.
That was pretty much it. I mean, I knew going into it that the bike course was going to be the challenging part. I'm a runner at heart, and so really the key was to conserve as much as I could on the legs and save those quads so I could get to the run course. Really,
Gotcha.
the part that freaked me out was that water temp. Going into it, weeks leading up to it, Ironman gives me those emails. It's going to be 64, it's going to be 65 degrees, and then you show up and they do that practice swim and it's 58 degrees. For the practice swim, and you just can't. Being a Florida boy, you just don't prepare for 58 degrees. I have a wetsuit, but I have a wetsuit that's got no sleeves. And when you get in that water, it takes your breath away and you don't get it back. It's jumping into springs with a wetsuit on, you lose your breath a little bit and eventually you get it back. You don't get it back at 58 degrees. And so really that was really the struggle. Once I got onto the bike course, it was what it was. I knew it was going to be a hard race. I knew it was going to be a long day. I've never been so excited to get off a bicycle.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Once you have, I think it was high 7,000s feet of climb, 7,700, something like that.
Yeah, I think total gain was 7,300 feet.
7,300. And then I know the run course was challenging. You had another 1,400 or 1,500 feet on that. So, I mean, it was pretty damn impressive to make that through the day. How was what I'm really interested in, obviously the Ironman World Championships has not gone on in a while. They were going to do it in Kona. They didn't do it in Kona. They moved it to St. George. Then they're having 2 championships this year. What kind of was it? Was it Kona-esque, or did they try to create their own vibe to it? What was the city like? I mean,
that was actually the part that I was pretty impressed with. I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere was great. They did a really good job of trying to tie the two together. So, for example, the mayor of Kona himself and a bunch of the the guys that put on the show and the ambiance of Kona, they came to St. George. And so the opening ceremonies right before the swim started, they did the conch shell. They did the prayers. They did everything that they do at Kona. And then on top of that, they tied in the local aspect. So the Utah, the Indian tribe. So especially on the bike course, I don't know if you're familiar with the bike course there at St. George. When you leave the bike course and you go out towards Ivan on the west side of St. George, it's all Indian territory. And we actually ride through a lot of late native land out there. And so they actually brought in the native tribes. And so they had that really, really cool vibe of this Utah Indian tribe. And then they tied it into the Kona feel. So they did a really good job of tying the two together. It was a really, really cool feel. This is the first time that the World Championships have happened outside of Kona. And so they really did it. They did a really good job of trying to tie the two together. Even in the logo, let's see, wait, I'm not shirtless and I'm not wearing the medal. But you can see here, right? I mean, even in the logos, they this new beginnings that they did, they tied the Hawaii theme into it. And they did a really good job of trying to tie the two together. I mean, it is what it is. Kona unfortunately couldn't happen, and Hawaii couldn't happen. So St. George did a really good job of trying to embrace the World Championships.
Rich and I have actually talked about this multiple times on the podcast about Ironman moving the World Championships around. Now that you've seen it, you've experienced it firsthand, being at a different venue, would you always want it to be at Kona, or are you okay if they ever decided to move it from Kona and kind of do a traveling World Championship?
I mean, in my opinion, I'm the one. I've done the one time that it wasn't in Kona, so now I got to go back and do Kona, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then you can
now I have to do Kona to compare it. So I have to see how challenging Kona is compared to this race.
So I had got one of Sky's clients actually got an email. She participated out at St. George as well, and she got an email saying you are invited to participate in the World Championships as well. Did you get that same email? Even though you participated in St. George, you get an email to go to Kona and participate there as well?
Did I get an email to go participate in Kona?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. If I did, I didn't see it.
You better check your email, Juan. I heard those things were going out.
They're going out, and it's time sensitive too.
That's right, time
sensitive.
Yeah,
I think Dan and I talked about it several times.
Maybe I wasn't fast enough.
Yeah, Dan and I have talked about several times, and the demands of Kona in Hawaii. It really helps and benefits certain racers, certain athletes, and the possibility of moving it to a different venue. Do you think the same demands were that this race course was up to par with the demands of Hawaii? I mean, having not been there, but just from what you've seen, what you heard.
I mean, I think the DNF rate says it all. I think the DNF rate for this race says it all. I mean, you look at what the DNF rate is for the World Championships in Kona, and you see what the DNF rate was for this race. This was a challenging course.
Did they take into consideration, because you actually had people doing the regular
right? You did have some first timers. I mean, you did have. I mean, what did they say, about 400 first timers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's definitely that. But I mean, even looking into that 400, I mean, you're talking what, 2,700, 2,800 starters. I think it was 3,500 was supposed to do the race, and then I think 2,800 towed the line and 2,200 finished. I mean, that swim course and that bike course was brutal. The benefits of training in Florida is the heat. The heat didn't affect me whatsoever. I going into it, I knew, like I said, I knew the bike was going to be hard, but I knew if I had legs left, I could get to that run course and not have a problem. And I think you can look at my run times and see that was it. The majority of the people on that run course were just dead. It was hot. We hit 92, 93 degrees. But man, you give me no humidity, and I'll take that all day long.
100%.
Yep. What you said it was windy out there. I mean, we've had such a windy winter here in spring season. That probably played into your hands there. I'm like, I couldn't even tell you the last time we went out on a bike ride. It wasn't blowing 20 miles an hour.
You ever go downhill and only hold 16 miles an hour? Yeah, it was windy.
Yeah. Nice. So at least you had the wind at your back going up the hills. Then is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly. You had tailwinds going up a hill.
Nice. Gives you that little extra push.
Yeah. Right. 6 miles an hour. You get to 7. Yeah.
6.5. We're good.
So as far as the finish line, did they do anything St. George specific? I don't know what as far as what St. George is known for, anything out there. Did they do anything that was going to be unique to them? Like Kono, obviously they always do the lays and things like that. Was there something that they did at St. George?
They had the lays. They actually had the lays and everything. They had the Kona feel. Like I said, they had that. They really tied the two together.
Gotcha.
St. George has that really cool. I guess it's a statue. That big giant M that big Iron Man M that they put in the middle of the town there. They did a really good job tying that in, I guess you could say. We had to run around it right there. We had. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it was interesting because I saw they were in, I think they said the economic impact to St. George was 35 million over the course of the weekend for that. But obviously St. George has embraced Iron Man, the brand, the city. I mean, obviously they're hosting a lot of races there. It seems like it is one of the true venues that totally 100% grasps, the economic impacts of what entails putting an Ironman on.
The biggest notice was we got out there about a week early. We took a little bit. We took advantage of the time out west, and so we flew out a little early to spend some time. St. George is probably about 45 minutes away from Zion, and you have the Snow Canyon area and you have the Indian reservations. You got a lot of beautiful land and state parks and national parks around the area. And the biggest notice that I had was the economic and impact on what COVID has done to that area. The majority of the restaurants and the majority of the hotels were shut down or closed or abandoned. We went out to Zion a couple days beforehand, and the little towns surrounding Zion, I mean, maybe 2 out of 3 restaurants were closed. And the restaurants that were opened had no staff, and that was all around St. George as well. I mean, you'd go out to eat at St. George, and you're talking, 3,000 athletes. They each bring a family member or 2 family members. You're talking 10, 20,000 people in St. George for the weekend, and each one of these restaurants had a 2-hour waiting for just to eat, just to have dinner, because they had no staff. So really, that's really the big impact. St. George is a very small town in a rural area, and that was really the biggest thing we noticed. It was kind of sad to see, like I said, especially in the Zion area.
I noticed that when I went out to do Coeur d'Alene last year, that, and I don't know if it was because of COVID, but a lot of the restaurants, and I was like, maybe this just the enormity of the event doesn't get conveyed to the local businesses, because they were opening late. Things weren't open in the morning. Restaurants closed early. It'd be like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Restaurants are closing. And I'm like, you have all these people in here. You may as well take advantage of it and just stay open as long as possible.
Unfortunately, like I said, so me being a small business owner and kind of interested in the economy and what's happening, and so I actually had I had a lot of conversations with the local business owners when I would see that, and part of it was that, part of it was just the demand, they're just not ready for it, but a lot of it was too, you think about, for example, Zion. You take Zion, for example, it's a national park. Well, Zion was shut down for a year, and the surrounding towns that are using Zion as their economy, for 1 year, there was no people coming to the area. So to survive, you have to leave. You can't stay there. And so a lot of the people moved. A lot of the people, Las Vegas is an hour and a half away. There's, Arizona is not far away. So a lot of the people had to move. And so unfortunately, there just isn't there's no people there to work anymore. And so as stuff starts to come back, a lot of the business owners are saying, they're like, I talked to we went to one little small restaurant right there outside of Zion to have lunch. And the owner came out, he goes, I apologize, we're open. And he goes, but I'm cooking and my wife is serving, and that's it. We don't have anybody else here. And so just be patient. And we're like, we're good. We're going to hang out. We're going to look out, and the views are absolutely amazing. And we're going to just hang out and have a sandwich and enjoy the view. But that was, sorry.
I think that's an interesting perspective, though. A lot of the Ironman races are in mid-level size cities. They're not in the big cities. They're not in these big metropolis areas. And so when you have a mid-sized area and you have this influx of people coming in, it's hard for the infrastructure to handle that. It's hard for the from the restaurants, the hotels. I mean, you see it, Ironman Augusta. You go to Augusta. Augusta has 2 events a year. One's the Masters and one's 70.3. So when they do get infiltrated, when they do get like that, it's hard for them to handle.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, obviously, you'd like to think that you have a year that they're preparing for the event. You'd like to think that they would,
So Juan, how much of the $35 million did you drop was yours?
I mean,
economic impact.
Yeah,
I'm sure you dropped most of that, right? you got the $78 mug right there. I see it.
There's $40 right there.
At least. And you got a
that's
tattoo while you're out there. I'm sure you got some indigenous tattoo artist to give you.
That's the one thing I didn't get, but I and now I need to start thinking of something.
Yeah, I figured you'd go out there and have some Indian tattoo.
I may or may not have a few, So
yeah, there you go.
Juan, this is the question, I guess. Are you throwing a lei around your little Ironman tattoo that you have on your arm? Is that the thing now?
That's a great idea.
There you go.
Oh,
you heard it first on
Dgr. Stop it! You're feeding the bears, dude. Stop it.
But it has to have that. It has to have the Utah St. George spin. I've done the only Ironman World Championship that didn't take place in Hawaii. So
well, your lei can be like a burgundy red and gold color, right? Colors of St. George. Is that the? There you go. That's it. Hey, is the Ironman World Championship? I think you can only buy that gear when you're there, right? It's kind of like the Masters. You got to go to be able to get it. Is that a thing?
I don't know. I haven't checked the website.
He bought it all while he was there. He didn't need to. He got it all.
Let's be honest. Ironman's not gonna. If you want to buy it, Ironman's gonna let you buy it.
If they still have it in inventory, they're not just sending it out to the homeless shelter.
Wait, so they didn't just do their generic shirt like they always did? They actually did something special for you guys? I mean, that might be a first in Ironman history. Yeah,
they do the shirts with the names on the back. You search for your name and it's never there. It's like there's my name's not here. Where is it?
They actually had so many names on the back that they have to have 2 sets of shirts. There was A through whatever.
That's not true.
Yeah,
that's not true.
100% true. They had 2 sets of tables, and they had to divide it in half because the big giant Ironman M couldn't hold all the names, so they actually had to have 2 sets.
They put it at like font 4. You can't even read your name anyway.
I feel like you. Is that true?
Absolutely, 100%. Okay. A through K, and then they had to go all the way through Z on the second batch.
All right.
That is too funny. That's
what happens when you have 2 years worth of Ironman World Championships in one race.
People were thirsting, weren't they? They were just thirsting, ready to get there.
That expo made a few bucks.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, you go to St. George. What's one thing you got to do while you're there?
In St. George?
Yeah, what's something that was cool that you did? You said you got out there a week early. You had to do some sightseeing out there. Anything? What do you need to see? I mean, is the rock formations out there? You
Yeah.
doing some of the climbing? I mean, that's
Yeah, you gotta go out to Snow Canyon. You gotta go out to Snow Canyon and check out that. That actually was by far the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Even at mile 100, when you're sitting there climbing at 8 degrees and you're going 6 miles an hour, and you're just absolutely just broken, and you're climbing up that mountain, you're just sitting there looking around, going, "Holy cow! Like, this is absolutely beautiful." I actually that's when I got done with that race, that's the first thing I thought to myself as I'm riding up that mountain. I said, I got to bring my family out here tomorrow. So I got done with the race. The next day we went and climbed and we went hiking.
Oh, nice. Hey,
That's the
except
great
if
thing
you're a pro. At a pro, you're still climbing at 20 plus miles an hour.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course. But, when you have recovery and you have a great diet like I do, you can go out there and hike the next day and not even be sore. So
Vespa.
Vespa, 100%.
Oh, that is too funny. Hey, I don't know if you saw the PTO had their one of their inaugural challenges. I think that they had rich fanboy here, Lionel Sanders won recently, and Paul Felder, who is a former UFC fighter, was on his team and actually did the running and is big now in the tri based off watching Lionel Sanders on YouTube. Have you gotten into any of the PTO pro challenges that they have? No. You have any interest in that? Do you have any interest in the kind of the quirky things that is being out in the triathlon world that's going to bring more people in, or you just
race? Just race. Come on,
just race. Gotcha. All right.
I was impressed. I mean, Sanders had a great race. I really thought Sanders was gonna give Christian a run for his money, but
he can't run fast enough, right? He ran a 2:42 and Christian ran a 2:38.
I mean, it's just Christian's on a different level right now.
How long do you think someone like an athlete competing at that level? Like I know Jan had pulled out, and I know Gustav had pulled out because of sickness. I mean, what do you think? I mean, can he sustain that for the next few years, or does the body just
another year at that level?
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, for him to do, I'm 100% still baffled as to what he did on that course. And so for him to do what he did, if you give him a course right now, I think he's just unbeatable right now. I really would like to see what Jan can do, against Christian right now.
It is unbelievable that someone can compete at such a high level in so many different distances within the same year. Like typically you're going to focus on one distance for that year, but he's, Olympics, 70.3, fulls. Right. To be that dominant across the board.
Right. He takes the gold medal. He turns around, wins 70.3. I mean, he clashed Daytona, and then he turns around and wins the world championships. And he's just at every level right now. He's just unbelievable right now.
I'd race all the time if I were him right now. What the hell? I mean,
yeah. Did you see that bike he was riding?
Yeah. Oh, I did not see his bike.
You got to go back and look at that bike. It's weird. It's a weird setup. It's an interesting. It's completely different. Completely changed the way it's set up.
Gotcha. Okay.
It didn't look aerodynamic. It was.
I saw one bike there, and I don't know if it was a pro or an age grouper. It had no top tube on it.
He had a top tube, but like I said, the bike itself was just a really weird setup.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at it. I tune out when I'm not involved in a race. I'm good.
A lot of and myself included, the way that aerodynamics have been set up on bikes and the way personal fittings have been set up, a lot of changes have started happening. I sit a little bit more upright, especially on the on the aero bars. My bars aren't sitting flat. I sit very, very high up. My elbows a lot further than my wrist do.
Do you do that just on the longer distance, and you adjust it for a shorter distance, or are you just doing that across the board now?
That's across the board. That's my setup now.
I mean, we know
So it's more, hey, Juan, so it's more of a kind of a pronate position. You're more sitting upright a little bit.
My back is still pretty flat, but it's actually how I sit my elbows versus my wrist, which helps relax the shoulders more, which then drops the neck down. So you actually relax more, but your back still sits pretty flat.
Okay. Gotcha.
Shout out to Joe Nagy there at 3 Performance, but he's one of the ones that kind of helped me kind of find that design and really helped a lot.
Yeah, it's always good to find a nice
one. Is it mostly based on your comfort or your output, or both?
Both. Okay. Absolutely both. But yeah, comfort, because it's my power output increased. Actually, it didn't steady. It actually increased, and my comfort level actually got better.
Okay.
Good. More power, more comfort. Sounds like a smooth ride, right? You got the Cadillac of rides.
However, when you're not in aero for 80% of the ride, it doesn't really make a difference.
So what's the next race, Juan? Are you ready to not see your bike for a while? I know every time I do a longer race, I'm like, I don't want to do anything for a long time.
I thought that the second I got off that bike and I handed it to, when you have those catchers there at the transition area, and they take your bike from you and you're getting ready to hit the run course. And I looked at the guy and I just said, hey, if you want to toss this in the dumpster, please feel free. But then I hit the run course and the adrenaline hit me, and I felt great. Fortunately, it really did fire me up. I feel awesome, and the next day, like I said, the recovery aspect and how I felt. I ran great. I felt great. I finished that race. I still had lots of energy left. So yeah, I gotta figure out what's next. But yeah, I definitely want to race again.
Well, good. He's got the bug. Well, I mean, now you need to make it to Kona. So you're already in world championship shape. So keep at it, buddy.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, maybe 70.3. Maybe we'll try for 70.3 worlds. How's that?
Hey, whatever. I'm so far removed from worlds that it's all a foreign language to me.
I'm not sure, but 70.3. The only other issue, 70.3 worlds this year is in St. George. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Back to back. Let's go.
Maybe we'll wait till it moves to the next location.
There you go.
So Juan, other than that, how are things going down there at the Running Elements? How are things down in you're in Daytona Beach? Where are your locations? I know you're getting ready to take over the world with your running stores. How are things down there?
We're having a great old time, man. We're having a great old time.
Right on.
Everybody's getting active and healthy and wanting to run, and the Running Elements in Daytona is doing amazing. We're 6 months into our Running Elements in Ocala. We actually just had a big race yesterday in Ocala. Sold out. We capped it at 500 runners, and we sold it out right away. We're having a good old time, man. We're just trying to get everybody active and healthy and having a good time.
Good for you guys.
Is that because Peter's cooking food for everybody at the finish line? Is that what the deal is for him?
If none of you've ever been out to Ocala and been to this World Equestrian Center, I mean, you're talking there. It's the Disneyland of horses. I mean, it is absolutely the most beautiful property I've ever seen. They have not skimped on costs, and they had this blueberry festival out there yesterday. And we didn't know we were getting into. We just said, we'll help you guys put on a 5K. We'll make it. It's just a fun little run we wanted to do for them, kind of help. And we capped it at 500 people, thinking we're never going to hit 500 people.
Sure.
Oh man, we hit 500 right away.
Nice,
Wow.
very nice. Came home with some blueberries, didn't you?
We had some blueberries.
I love a blueberry. I tell you
Lots
what.
of blueberry pancakes.
How many races are
man.
you? How many races are you guys putting on?
Throughout the year, we probably have 25 to 30 races on the calendar.
That's
And just
fantastic.
always looking to expand and grow and do more things. You know, as far as Volusia County is concerned, we have the only 2 Boston qualifiers in the area. You know, we've got our partnership with NASCAR that we do our big September race, and we're looking to expand and grow and do more events. You know, so our events world, you know, it's good to have it back. You know, that's really been a struggle. It's really here over the last 2 years. As far as
What's a couple? Yeah, what's a couple new venues that you're looking at going into?
we're not expand, grow, and
Man, I think we lost you a little bit there. I don't know. Your connection.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit.
couldn't hear.
I didn't know what you said there.
you hear me?
He spent all his money on in St. George, doesn't have enough for an internet connection. Apparently,
He missed the bill.
he missed that internet bill. It's a nice good.
Snuck right by.
Got to pay that bill.
They don't mess around. They'll turn your internet off just like that.
They will, those bastards. I'll tell you what. These damn Russians.
Oh man, I think Juan's just sitting there spinning over there. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, hopefully he's into the bourbon. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure he is into the bourbon right now. Is he trying to log back in again? I don't know what he's doing. Let me see if I can add him again. Here we go. We got dueling Juans coming up here right now. Could you handle 2 Juans at one time?
I don't think anybody can handle it. Hey, double Juan. Look at that.
Double Juan.
Juan.
And you can't hear us on either one. We go for a third. Hey, Rich, really funny. Right before we got on, I was looking at just thumbing through some things because I hadn't looked at anything in forever, right? So I saw this 5K and it's up in Detroit and it says, I ran the D.
I want the D. What's wrong with that, man? I don't even know what you're. Tell me what you're even implying. I don't get it. It's Detroit, Dan. What are you talking about?
You're right. It is Detroit. I thought it was just a funny way to say it. I ran the D.
I rode the D. I rode the D would be better.
No, well, it would be, but yeah. We try to keep it clean on this show.
Why? Nobody listens. Fuck.
Can you?
A little bit, Juan. I don't know.
Juan, you got to pay your internet bill.
I guess all my money to St. George.
He spent all his money in St. George.
All this money. He's in debt now. Can't pay his $80.
Gotta pay it. Gotta sell another couple pairs of shoes, baby.
Come on, let's plug it, Juan. Let's go. Where? What are the new shoes of the year this year? What are the new gadgets? Enlighten us.
Let's talk about racing. Let's talk about racing shoes.
All right, what you got for us?
By far, my favorite shoe, what I raced in St. George actually, was the new A6 Meta Sky Speed. By far the best A6, by far the best carbon-plated shoe on the market right now.
Really, what makes it better? I'm just curious. I mean, Nike kind of came to market first, I think, and now everybody's in that market. What separates the A6 shoe?
I mean, who won the race?
Well, I think it comes down to who runs the fastest, not who's the best athlete. I don't think it comes down to
only the shoes, Dan. It's only the shoes. It's all the shoes.
Look at the overall male. Look at the overall female. Tell me what they have on their feet.
Well, I look at the overall male and I look at the overall female, and they've been dominant. So I'm gonna leave it to that. I think they could run barefoot and win.
And they're wearing exactly the shoe that somebody paid them the most to wear.
They both run in the Meta Speed Sky. But it's the shoe itself is just by far the fastest, most responsive shoe I put on my foot.
In case our people didn't hear it, it's the fastest, most responsive shoe that is on the marketplace right now.
Am I still intermittent here? Can you guys not hear me?
Yeah,
we're
you're a little broken up, boss.
Juan, we're basically guessing what you're saying right now.
What is happening? What is happening?
I don't know.
5G. So, Juan, I'm going to check out the A6 Challenger. Since you're Team A6, apparently, I'm going to check out the A6 Challenger, and I'm going to get all my pickleball proteges to start wearing that shoe, okay? And come to you for the A6 Challenger.
I mean, as far as Rich is concerned, we definitely need to get you into some challengers to figure out,
I'm going to check it out.
How your pickleball game going.
Go check it out. Definitely will. We're kind of losing you there, Juan, and I hate that. It kind of bothers me. So I guess it's time to pull the plug on this at some point.
I apologize for that, guys. I don't know what's happening here. So
it's all good. We've had plenty of technical difficulties over the years.
Very, very happy that you got to join us for your third visit to the Dan Gets Rich podcast. I think you were, if not you were the second guest we had on. I think it was Sky.
Sky was the first.
The most popular guest.
Sky's the best looking guest we had. You were second best.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
You can't. There's no disagreeing. No disagreeing.
So, yeah, man. It's I look forward to seeing you again. I know we'll get together soon, and maybe we can plug some of the other stuff with the team. I know we're always looking for the next greatest thing, and triathletes will pretty much purchase anything if it's going to make them a second faster. I decided that there was one thing after watching the local race today, Rich, and
yes.
I'm not sure if Juan can still hear me. He might be able to confirm this with me, but I have decided that if you cannot do a flying dismount or gracefully get off your bike, you can't have a disc wheel. You can't ride a disc wheel. I have come to that conclusion.
No. What about, hey Dan, just to bring full circle, I think there was a beginner triathlon last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and Janine was out and she was volunteering, whatever, and gracefully so. And all the guys that show up with disc wheels for the beginner tries, that should be banned. Those guys should be tarred and feathered.
So, and I'm going to call it
and feathered. If you're riding a disc
100%
to a beginner try, swimming pool where you can literally swim, walk triathlon, and you got a disc wheel, you should be banned.
So Sky immediately texted me, and she goes, the effing guy from Everyman Jack is here with his wheel. And I said, it's got to, Everyman Jack is such a bunch of douches that they probably say in their contract or whatever to be on the team that you got to win an overall race to be on the team. And they're like, oh, I'm going to show up to this beginner try. They're not Everyman Jack. They're out west. They're not going to know what the race is. So he shows up to go. And I guess he didn't even win the overall. So that tells you what kind of field was out there. We also had the Austin twins that were out there locally, if you guys are from here. And they run about a 5:30 mile, and they didn't win either. So obviously a beginner try, the competition was pretty stiff for a 400-meter swim, 8-mile bike and a 5K run, which seems kind of ridiculous to be doing that. I also have go off on another tangent. I want to bring it back to the beach walk because it is a beginner try. It's put on by a local race company that does great things in the community. They're not USAT sanctioned, but they put a ton of beginner events on there. They make it very safe in venues, neighborhoods where you're going to be closed off to a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of people out there. And all I do is see USAT keep promoting, and not that I have anything against the kids triathlon world or the para, but that's like all they're putting money into right now. And I just saw $100,000 grant go out where if I renew my membership and through the month of June that they give out a kids membership, digital membership. Rich, who gives an flying F about that? I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of resources to do something like that. I would like to see USAT actually put money into race directors who are helping to grow the sport. You're not growing the sport by giving someone a membership and saying they have access to the triathlon world. Now that doesn't do a damn thing, and it's not bringing anybody into the sport. I want them to put money into some of these local races for some of these people. Juan, you have a race management company. If you put on an event and USAT comes to you and they say they want to put a grant or give you some money to put this race on to help grow the sport and make it a beginner one, that is their best bang for their buck. And I don't understand why USAT continuously falls on their face when it comes to certain things like that. It just absolutely drives me crazy. That's it. I'm off my soapbox.
No.
But,
Dan, I want to piggyback on this. So Juan, Dan and I went out to Endurance Exchange in Tempe, Arizona, and they had a race director. USAT had a race director conference, like group meeting, and there was like 30 people in there. And while the meeting was going on, it was like some schlep from USAT that was 17 rows down on the scale was in there talking to the race directors. And these race directors are literally, and they're race directors and they're team owners, people that own racing teams, and they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into what they're doing. And they give us this guy, and right next door, I'm not flipping kidding you, right next door, they're having a full-on gala for all the other people with drinks flowing, food flowing. Rocky Harris is over there up on top of the stage swinging bandanas around, and they're just having a great time. And us next door, we're over there like a bunch of freaking morons, man. That's what they think of you. That is what they think of the team owners and race directors right there.
It's a tough business to be in, for sure.
I just don't get it. I mean, do you get more support from like USA Running? Like, I've never seen such a poorly run organization in my entire life. It just absolutely boggles my mind that we continuously
the same. But it's, for example, this weekend alone, we had 3 events going on this weekend. We had a race in Ocala, but then we had a swim event this weekend. So USA Swim, whatever I think it's called USA Swim, is, and they're just as disorganized and as crazy and as, I mean, and we have to follow, and we have, the guidelines and the rules for these sanctioned events. I mean, this was a Southeast region, teams from Texas and Alabama, Georgia, coming down to do this swim event. And we were timing that for them, and they're just as disorganized as crazy as. It's just industry. But yeah, we had insane kids. I mean, we had swim 57 minutes for 5K.
Damn, that's crazy. But what you need is people that are passionate about the sport, involved with the sport. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the things that they think are important are so far removed from what you as a race director actually needs. It's what, I mean, do they not go to any races? Do they not see what's going on? Like, you just sold out a race for the first time in Ocala, freaking Florida, that has more cows than people probably, and you had 500 people show up to this.
Horse country.
The what?
Horse country. Horse.
Horses, yeah, horses.
Not horse.
Horses. It's horse country. It's horse country out there. Yes. So, but again, you have 500 people, and so many of those you put on a 5K. So many of those people are probably first timers out there. You just opened the running store. You're trying to grow the community out there, and they could give 2 craps about what you're doing there. And it's a travesty when you're trying to grow the sport.
Here's an example. I mean, 15 minutes before the race started on the swim event, the swim event yesterday, 15 minutes before the event starts, the director of the UA Swim comes to us and says, "Hey, see that buoy at the halfway point? Can you change the color of that buoy so it doesn't match the turn buoys, because it looks a little confusing." This is 15 minutes before the race starts. Like, that's their priority. They don't understand how these events go. I mean, they're in the wrong. It's the same thing with USAT. Same thing with it's just it's interesting for sure.
I just don't get it. You have all these people who, quote unquote, say that they are fans of the sport, want to be involved with the sport. I mean, Rocky's done triathlon, and they completely miss the mark all the time about that. And again, I'm not poo-pooing the efforts that they're putting into youth triathlon or para triathlon. I just think their resources and things that they're doing are
kids.
they're so misguided for what they're doing. You're not growing the sport. Like, listen, a kid is getting into triathlon because their flipping parents are doing triathlon, not because they miraculously fell into the world of triathlon where they saw it on YouTube or something like that. I mean, the stars aren't big enough for it. I mean, they're doing it because their parents are doing it.
100%.
Yeah, but I mean, in the long run, all we can do is just put on the event and get more people involved. I mean, that's really the key.
It is. Did you see, I can't remember where it was. I want to say it was like the Hog Heaven thing where that 6-year-old ran the marathon, and everybody's like, A, they're getting on the race director for allowing him to do that, and B, on the parents for allowing him to run the marathon.
It's child abuse.
I mean, there should be a 6-year-old running marathon. Let's be honest.
I mean, but if he wanted to, let's just say he wanted. I mean, I don't know. When I was 6-year-old, there's no chance I'd run like 50 yards and I was out of breath. I don't know if they wanted to do it. You have something against that, or I mean, I don't know too much enough about running where I could say one way or the other.
They could pick which sex they wanted to run under, male or female, at 6.
Oh, now we're going down that path. Okay.
No, not with Dan. I love Dan.
No, but I mean, it's actually like I'm a RCA certified running coach myself, and part of the class when they teach you I know, Sir Rich, I'm boasting myself again.
I know, you've got lots of credentials. We should have listened to them. It would have taken a whole hour.
One of the first things they teach you in that class is, and when it comes to youth running, I'm not of the philosophy of you basically the max distance you should run as a kid is your age. So if you're 6 years old, that's the max distance you should be running. You should not be running anything further than 6 miles. Distance running is not designed for young people. It's tough on the body, and so if you're even an 18-year-old kid is still developing and growing, and for that kid to be running a marathon, it's a lot of abuse and a lot of wear and tear on that body.
It's a lot of wear and tear on your body at any age. I'm old now, 100%. Man. It's it hurts every time you go out and do anything.
That's different wear and tear, Dan. But all of us are 7 foot tall.
Hey,
Rich, congratulations. No, we're wrapping this shit up. Congratulations on your race. Congratulations on being an Ironman. Congratulations on your race out there in St. George. And congratulations on all your success there in Daytona at Running Elements. Thank you for being on our show. Dan, you can wrap it up. You got something.
You just took all my glory, Rich. I was going to go back to before you actually did that. We started a segment called "Don't Be a Douche" a couple weeks ago, and
we did.
Yeah. So all the USA sanctioned running, swimming, triathlon, don't be douches, right? Let's come back. Let's get back to the people. Let's help the people out that are helping grow the sport. Anyway,
let's be active. Yeah.
Hashtag Rocky Harris. Don't be a douche.
Let's have some fun.
There you go.
Yes,
it's supposed to be fun.
Exactly. Anyway, Juan, thanks so much. I know you got to show your mug off one more time before we get off the air. So one more time. There we go. Flip that hat around. Oh, put that medal on.
There you go.
There he goes. Look at that guy.
Put it on.
He's been rocking the beard. He's got his game face on 100%. Congratulations on becoming an Ironman world champion. Can I say that? I don't know. You're not a world. Are you considered an Ironman world championship? I don't know.
Anyway, I'd say I was.
There you go. Let's go with it.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time coming on Sunday. I had to push it back because I had some heartbreak yesterday with the Boston Bruins, but the Celtics redeemed themselves. Oh man, come on now. I was hoping the Bruins were going to be able to pull it off so I could go down to Tampa and watch that game, but looks like
talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, Rich is out if we're not talking about pickleball. All right, guys. Thanks so much, Rich. I'll talk to you next week, buddy.
All right, guys.
All right, later.